going to be doing a spring reading list video because I have had the biggest pile of books next to my bed for goodness knows how long, and there's some that I've been travelling with, and there's some magazines that I've been loving, and even a couple of coffee table books. So what I thought I'd do today to set you up for spring, as I'm sure the sun hopefully will still be out, there's going to be a little bit of garden time at the weekend, maybe a bit of sitting down, a bit of lazing, a few commutes. So I thought I'd show you some of the things I'm going to be reading, and maybe if you'd like to read along with me you could do. So yeah, Maggie is behind the camera, so if she's panting it's because it's a whole 19 degrees outside and she's looking out the window, so she's going to be wiggling around a bit. Let's crack on, and I'm going to talk you through some of my books that I've been loving / meaning to read, and yeah, hopefully they might inspire some bookwormy time. The first few books I'm going to start with are more along the lines of career, self-helpy kind of books, because there is a real trend for these at the moment, but there are so many amazing good ones I've read and I've had real useful takeaway value from them, which is so important, I think, if you're going to read them. There's a few that I've kind of heard about through the grapevine, almost like The Secret and things, which I don't know if that massively appeals to me, because there's some elements that people are like, they're amazing, it'll change your life, and some things in it that I'm a bit like, I don't know, I'm a bit of a cynic, and some things I just think, I don't know if that's going to wash with me. Just positive mental attitude solves a lot of things, but it doesn't solve everything. I don't know, maybe that's me sounding a bit miserable, but anyway. On to the more positive things. The first is this book called Playing Big by Tara Mohr, and if you listen to my podcast with Charlotte, which I'm going to stop plugging eventually, you all know that Charlotte absolutely raves about this book. I think she's read it a couple of times now, but I started reading this and it's a really great uplifting read. It's a practical guide for brilliant women like you, and it's just basically about for people that feel they're being held back in their career, and it's got lots of little tips and ways to kind of make yourself feel like you're able to take up space, if that makes sense, like you're of value and you're important in the workplace, whether you're self-employed or working anywhere. But yeah, really, really great read, and I've kind of been dabbing in and out of it, but I really do want to sit down and properly just whiz through it, because great things can happen, I think, when you actually dedicate time to books like this. So I'm really keen to finish that. I'm going to pop it over here. The next one on my magic pile that I've really been loving is this one, and this is How to Break Up With Your Phone, which I bought quite a while ago. I read a really interesting piece that Sally Hughes wrote about it on The Pool, and I was a bit dubious about it because obviously my career and a lot of it is based on my phone and online, but I was really interested to see if this would change my perspective on things at all, and it is amazing. I am 3/4 of the way through. I'm on page 130, and I read it a lot when I was on the flight from New Zealand. Reading this just really made me think about my phone usage. It made me download a couple of apps called one of them's called Moment, and it tracks your phone, how many times you pick it up, how long you're on it, and I'm never going to be like someone that's going to completely never use their phone. Obviously, I think that's quite drastic, and it's almost about developing a better relationship with technology, and it did make me realise that, say, for the 3 hours or whatever I was on my phone a day, how much I could have actually got done, especially when you come to the end of your day and you're like, oh, I haven't had time for this, and you're like, well, actually, I did have time for it, but I just didn't use my time efficiently. But anyway, really good, not preachy. It's basically, yeah, it is like saying it's having a better relationship with it, so it's kind of breaking up but then building those bridges again, so you do use your phone within reason. But yeah, I really like it. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't preachy, it wasn't too high and mighty like phones are evil and all the rest of it, but yeah, really, really enjoyed that book. Really keen to finish it, and it has got a 30-day plan in it, so little things you can do to kind of gradually ease yourself into a more zen life. But yeah, love that. I think they are the only 2 books of that ilk. Actually, one thing I have been loving, it's not really a book, it's a magazine. There's a couple of magazines actually, I'll go with those now, is Red, and I absolutely love Red magazine. I know quite a few people that don't read it or have never thought to pick it up, and naturally it's something that I did think might have been, I don't know, not necessarily aimed at me per se, but I love it. I actually subscribe to this, so I get it every single month because I'm keen. But it's so, so good. The articles are amazing. They have some really amazing writers contributing every month. So they have people like Dolly Alderton. There's just so many. They have different women of different careers. They have MPs, they have chefs, they have just so many different women, and I love their fashion pages. There's a really nice balance of high street, more kind of mid-price high street, and then high-end, and it's just so well done, and it's just really interesting. I always read it and I feel inspired, or that I've taken something away from it. So yeah, if you go shopping and you see this, I do recommend picking it up if you haven't read it before. Obviously it's a huge magazine, so I don't want to be like, oh yeah, have you heard of Grazia? I really recommend that. But I do sometimes speak to people and they're like, oh, I've never really read it before. But yeah, I really love it. One more mag I've really loved is this magazine called Together Journal, which has actually got a bit of paper in it because there's something in here that is useful. It's a wedding magazine basically, so if you are getting married or know someone that's getting married or just love looking at wedding stuff, I don't know, I picked this up at Auckland Airport and it's a New Zealand based journal, I think, but I picked this up and I've absolutely loved reading it. I'd sometimes get a bit, I don't know, I thought a lot of the weddings in it would be really glam and really far away and all the supplies would be really hard to access, but it's actually been so useful as a resource. We found some really great ideas in here, so really inspiring, beautiful photography and great photographers in here, so highly recommend having a peep at that. Speaking of beautiful photography, I'm going to talk to you really quickly about this coffee table book that I picked up. I picked up this book around December and it was actually while I was Christmas present shopping, and then I saw it and I couldn't wait. I'm awful at things like that. I'm like, oh no, I should have to get it, but it is this book, She by Kate Spade, and I also have the other Kate Spade coffee table book which is called Places to Go People to See. It's on my bookshelf up there and it's so beautiful. It's a lot of photos from either campaigns or old kind of art fashion shoots from ages and ages ago. This one I love because it focuses on loads and loads of amazing, really hugely inspiring women and has so many pretty photographers. So you've got people like Joan Didion, and then you've got, I'm just flicking, Carrie Bradshaw, everyone's favourite at the moment, Joan Myers-Brown, like so Diana Vreeland, just so many inspiring women of so many different backgrounds. So either whether that's like politics or I don't know, campaigning or fashion or photography or acting, there's so many, and like the photos are just unbelievable. Like they're the kind of photos I wish I could just have them all framed in here, which would be a very cool idea. Oh, so cool, like just amazing cooks. Oh, so inspiring, but absolutely love this. It's just a nice book to pick up and have a little flick through. Love having it out. I find it very hard to put it anywhere because I'm always like, oh no, I want it to be on display, but absolutely love this. It's so lovely. So that's kind of all of that by way of magazines, self-helpy books and coffee table books. I'm going to run on to fiction and non-fiction quickly. There are 3 books here that I have had next to my bedside table for a really long time. This is the first one and it's called Miss You. I don't know whether I've mentioned this before. I feel like I might have, in which case I really need to get myself in gear. That means I still haven't read it. But I picked this up because it had comparisons to One Day on the back, and that's one of my favourite books. The back says, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life" is the motto on a plate in the kitchen at home, and Tess can't get it out of her head. Even though she's in Florence for a final idyllic holiday before university, her life is about to change forever, but not in the way she expects. Gus and his parents are also on holiday in Florence. Their lives have already changed suddenly and dramatically. Gus tries to be a dutiful son, but longs to escape and discover what sort of person he's going to be. For one day, the paths of these two 18-year-olds will crisscross before they each return to England. Over the course of the next 16 years, life and love will offer them very different challenges. Separated by distance and chance, there's no way the two of them are ever going to meet each other properly. Or is there? I really love books that have that real kind of sliding doors, kind of what if stances to them, and both kind of project different paths and what could have happened. I remember my cousin who lives in the US actually brought over a book, I don't know if it's an American thing, but you got to read a chapter and there were maybe 3 different options, and each time you could kind of almost build the story yourself. So there were like 3 different alternate endings, and I absolutely love that. I love the whole idea of what if that happened or if that didn't happen, and I don't know, maybe a bit airy-fairy of me, but I'm really looking forward to reading that. I have started it, so I will let you know how I get on. Let me know if anyone else has read this. The next one I have been meaning to read is this, which I've seen absolutely everywhere, and this is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine. I initially bought this, and I was really excited to read it, and then my mum was like, oh, that looks really good, and I gave her my copy. So I picked up another one when I was at the airport because I was like, maybe I'll have enough time on the plane to read it, which is my like outlook for absolutely everything. I'm like, maybe I'll have enough time, and I'm always just like fast asleep within seconds, so that never quite happens for me. But I've seen so many people talk about this, and every review I've seen has been glowing and really like excited about it, so I'm really excited to get stuck in. It says Eleanor Oliphant leads a simple life. She wears the same clothes to work every day, eats the same meal deal for lunch every day, and buys the same 2 bottles of vodka to drink every weekend. Eleanor Oliphant is happy. Nothing is missing from her carefully timetabled existence, except sometimes everything. So yeah, doesn't give a lot away, but I quite like that about this book. It just sounds like something I'd be really into. And again, I'll let you know how I get on. Now, there are 2 more books that I'm sure you may have seen dotted around the internet because they have both been hugely popular, and I'm really excited to share them and both get stuck into them because they're 2 that I've been meaning to do. Again, this one I've started. This is one of my worst habits, the fact that I start a book, then I start another one. And I once remember reading an interview, I think it was with Shappy Corsandi, and she was like, I have a bath book, a train book, a bed book, and I was like, that sounds like me, which in hindsight feels like a really great idea. And then it comes to it, and then I'm just like flitting between too many things. So I need to start bringing that back to 1 book at a time. But when there's so many good books to read, it's so hard. Naturally, I did pick up Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton, who's one of my favourite writers. I think she's just such a talent. I mean, talented is such a like obvious word to use, but she's such a creative, sparkly, interesting writer, and I'm so keen to read this, and she's had some really great praise for it, so absolutely so excited to read this. I feel like at the end of spring, maybe I should check back in and kind of let you know how I've got on with all of these books and give you a bit more of a review, because it feels a little bit unhelpful just being like, this is good, this is good. But I can promise you that all of these books have come hugely recommended, so I'm not kind of stabbing in the dark here. Hopefully. The spring's only a couple of months. Maybe in the end of May I'll do another video and let you know how I've got on. And maybe if you want to read any of them, you can let me know how you got on and how you found it. We can start a bit of a conversation, because I'd quite like to do that. I think it'd be quite a nice little book club, chatty thing. Maybe, I don't know. And then finally, I have the F word. How could I not? How could I not? I absolutely love Lily. I think she's an amazing writer. She's hugely talented, and she is touching on a topic that I feel so passionately about, and I know everyone can relate to. After doing the first episode of our podcast, which we spoke about friendship, so many people got in touch and opened up and could relate to so many different elements, and Lily touches on it so beautifully. She covers so many different elements and periods of your life and time, and she just nails it, and it's just a really beautiful book. Again, I haven't read it all. I'm steaming through it though. I've had a little bookmark in it because I didn't want to damage the pages, but it came with a little post-it in it, so I was like, right, I don't have to put anything on the pages, but it's just so gorgeous. It's not about the cover, but the cover is beautiful. The design has gone into it is amazing, and it's a nice hardback as well, which, oof, I love a hardback. Really highly recommend this, and it's the kind of book that you can give. I think I gave one to my mum, and then I also gave one to my best friend because I pre-ordered it as well because I'm a bit of a dork like that. I'm like, oh, I love a pre-order, but there is something really nice about getting on board with things as they come out, so there is a real buzz and conversation about it. So they are the books that I've got here. I really hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm gonna let you know how I get on. Let me know what you've been reading at the moment as well, because I'm really keen to know if there's any new books that I should be picking up or if I've missed out on. Also, thinking of doing a little video about my playlist that I've been listening to a lot. I get a lot of requests on Instagram when I'm sharing different songs about playlists, so let me know if you'd like me to do that too. Just seen the sun has gone in, so I hope that the light hasn't been too up and down. British weather. That is that for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I wasn't too waffly. I get so excited talking about things I like. I'm just like, I need to get breathless. It's probably a bit much. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next week. Bye!